Hello, and welcome to the OSINT Search Party CTF Judge Training. Prior to watching this video, you should have completed the Introduction to TraceLabs video and the Contestant Training video, which will have given you the background you need to understand what is entailed in being a volunteer judge. Throughout this video, we will be covering how to become a volunteer judge and how to be successful at it. And really, a lot of people ask us what are really the main requirements of being a judge. And really, what we want out of a judge is someone who has good attention to detail, someone who's willing to learn, someone who wants to make a difference by contributing to the TraceLabs mission, and someone who's able to commit to a full day of judging for one of our events. Typically, our events are anywhere from 6 to 8 hours, and they happen during the week or on a weekend, depending on if it's a global event or a special event. Now, opportunities for volunteer judging typically are announced via our Slack channel or our social media such as Twitter and LinkedIn. If we look at the Slack example, to go to our Slack, if you're not already on there, you can join it from this link on our website here. But if you're already on there, you can actually see past examples of what we do for Call for Judges. This past example, we did Call for Judges for an event in April. We asked all the prospective volunteers to fill out this form here. Really, what this form is us asking for your email address to receive a registration link to the platform, your name, and then your TraceLabs Slack handle. So we do need to have your handle, meaning you do need to be in the Slack, because we need to contact you through there and add you to the special judges channel for that event. Then we just ask if you volunteered with us before. It helps us to know your experience level there. Now, additionally, we also provide the videos for you to review. So this video you're watching right now, and then the Introduction to TraceLabs and Contestant Training, that gives you the background you need. And then for more detailed background, we have our guide, and this can be found on our website under Resources, and the Judge Guide would be found over here. Opening up that Judge Guide, you can see we have it jam-packed full of tips and tricks, information you need to get started, even our categories for the CTF outline. They're very easy to access and they're organized. But the first step to really getting on the platform and being a judge is us setting up an account for you. And this will typically happen 2 to 5 days before the start of a CTF. We'll take the information you filled out on this form and we'll send you a registration email that will look something like this. What you would do with this is actually click on this link, set up a password for your account, then you would be able to log in here at this page. And we have the link to this also listed in the guide. It's right here at searchparty.tracelabs.org. Anyways, going back to the login page, once you're all logged in, you actually have access to the cases if they've already been published. And if the CTF has started itself, you'll actually be able to see the incoming feed. Now, what judging entails essentially is you validating every piece of OSINT that is submitted by a team that is assigned to you for the CTF. So the way we assign teams is we pick at random a team to assign to you to track their submissions throughout the CTF. Now you can have one team that you're tracking, you can have two, you can have anywhere up to 5, maybe 10. It all really depends on the amount of teams registered for that event and however many additional volunteer judges we have. So for our big global events, we typically have anywhere between 30 to 50 judges. So going back to the demo of the platform here, as you're validating each submission, there are really a few things you want to keep in mind. So you're really acting as a fact checker here. You're looking at what they submitted and seeing if it's true, accurate to really the best of your knowledge. We don't need you to be 100% correct when you're validating things because it is open source intelligence. It's subject to your interpretation. So we're asking you to use your best judgment here. The way I would go about validating a submission in this context is I would first look at the source URL. So in this case, the contestant has submitted this URL saying, This shows that Jack Lewis is a private pilot who is registered as an airman in the FAA database. I would first want to go check this out. Is this actually accurate? I can go here and see it just takes me to a search page. So immediately I'm thinking, oh, they didn't provide enough context. It's not a valid submission. However, if I go back here and look at the supporting evidence, you can see here they're actually telling you the URL does not provide a direct link, but they're going to tell you how to search. So they're telling you to search his name and his date of birth. So let's try that out. I'll go back here, search Lewis, search his first name, Jack. Date of birth they gave, I believe it was in April, and we can go back and double check. So April 30th, 1938. So we go here, 30th. And for those of you who are Tiger King fans, you'll probably recognize the Jack Lewis name, Carol Baskin's husband. That's the subject we're using for his demo. You can go and click search here, and we're going to see what results we get. Well, looks like it found one, so why don't we check it out? We'll go open that up here. And you can see here it says Jack Donald Lewis, so matching the name. And you can see here it has a license issued to him, private pilot, and it has, must wear corrective lenses. I think this is valid information. It's definitely interesting to see. So as a judge, what I would do is I would actually accept that. But before we accept it, there's one part that we didn't look at, the supporting files. So we had the evidence, but the files will actually give you a potential screenshot of that submission. You can look here, it actually gave a screenshot of exactly what we looked up, so we know that matches and we found the right thing. Going back, I'm going to go ahead and now accept this because it was valid. If it wasn't valid, I could reject it for any number of these reasons or give a custom reason as well. So we'll go ahead and accept that here. But what happens is this actually goes on the scoreboard. The Team Demo 3 now had an accepted flag. It went over here and you can see that happened at this time. Going back to the other submissions, we can look at one more. This one is under the family category. So something I'd want to do to ensure it's the right category is view this link first. Here we can see it's a Facebook profile for Carol Baskin. We want to do some checking to ensure it's the real one. In this case, we know it is, and we're going to give them the benefit of the doubt. We'll go back, see Facebook profile of wife Carol Baskin, information about the supporting evidence. So we can go ahead and accept that here. Now we'll look at one more submission here. This one, you can see here they're saying it's under the employment category. The relevance is it's Jack Lewis's office phone number, and they're saying it's from a Wayback Machine link. So why don't we go check that out? Go look at the link and see it's a "We Need Your Help" call, and we're looking here for the phone number they're mentioning, and we're seeing it's giving the contact information for the sheriff's department. So what I would think is this phone number here is actually for the sheriff and not for Jack Lewis. So what phone number did they give here? We can go back, ending in 9155. Right. So it looks like they misinterpreted this. So this would not be valid intelligence. What I would do is I would go back here and give a rejection reason. So the phone number you have listed is for the sheriff's office. And we can just go back, double check that. Good, that seems to be the accurate information. That's our conclusion. I'm going to go ahead and reject that. And what that looks like to the contestant on their side, they're going to be able to go here. They can go and log in. So I'm not logged in yet. I'll go ahead and log in now. So we can go log in with our demo. If we look under rejected, you can actually see it gave that exact explanation, shows a timestamp. They don't get points, so they're going to know that they didn't actually get that accepted. Now, as a judge, if you ever need to review the categories, you can view them within the platform right here. You can also have them open in your judge guide. So going back here, we have the judge guide. There's a full section on the categories here you can view. Now, something to note about the categories. We have one very key rule. If someone submits a location flag, meaning they think they found a current location of the missing person, if you're a judge, you have to actually confer with the other judges in the Slack channel before you award that 5,000 points. And what we actually have in place now is one of our TraceLabs admins will have to approve that before we actually award that 5,000 points. So if we look in the Slack channel, if I was a judge, I would be added to this channel here. And what we constantly see throughout our CTFs is the judges will constantly share submissions with each other and kind of get a second pair of eyes. To share a submission more easily, we actually have a share button on a submission. I'll show you that in a moment. So if we were to go back here as a contestant, submit a sample submission, I can say test.com. Go ahead and submit that. If we go to the judges view, I click details. There's a share link here. I can click that. It's going to copy it. And if I open that up in a new tab, I can see the full information on that. I can share this link with other judges and they'll be able to view that quickly. So it helps get a second pair of eyes doing this. Something else we have that's very important to note is if you're judging a piece of intelligence and you think it has extremely high intelligence value to law enforcement, we want you to click Mark for Law Enforcement. This will automatically accept the intelligence and then it will star the piece of intelligence in our database so that when we compile our intelligence report at the end of the event, it's going to be called out right from the get-go and law enforcement will be able to quickly act upon that. Now, other things you should note as a judge, go back to the guide here. We have a lot of tips and tricks. So one tip we have, before the CTF is really setting up your accounts. So one thing we recommend is setting up burner accounts, otherwise known as sock puppets, for popular social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and even LinkedIn, Snapchat, etc. This will help you to view submissions with an account that's not in your ownership so that you're not accidentally tipping off the person that you're looking at them from a personal account of yours. So we have full information on guides on how to get set up with your sock puppet or burner accounts here in the judge guide. We also recommend that you set up a VPN to stay anonymous while you're viewing these submissions. We also recommend that you use a virtual machine to do this. TraceLabs actually has our own OSINT VM that we've come out with that is linked on our website that you can actually use as well as a judge. It comes all pre-configured with our OSINT tools as well. Now, I won't go into more detail about this because you can read about all the other tips and tricks in the guide itself. This is really your Bible of the missing CTF or the search party CTF. You want to always refer to this if you're stuck as a judge or refer to another judge within our Slack channel. So we have a number of senior judges that have judged a number of many CTFs. We have our TraceLabs staff. Always confer with them first before you make a decision if you aren't sure. And lastly, to leave you off with a little bit of an incentive to be a volunteer judge with us, we are now offering access to the free TraceLabs OSINT Foundations course provided by OSINT Combine to all volunteer judges that successfully judge a CTF with us. So to learn more about this course, you can go to our website under Training Partners, and we have full information on this, what it entails. So that's just our thank you to you for volunteering with us. And with that, that brings us to the end of this training video. I want to thank you for listening. We hope to see you volunteer with us at a future CTF and do some good with TraceLabs.